Well, good morning. It is August 24th, day 105 on the trail for me. I've left the Seeley-Woodworth shelter and I'm hiking southbound. It was a great night. I slept pretty well. There's lots of different nuts, acorns, hickory nuts in the trees, and one thing that happens is sort of interesting is the squirrels come around and I think they drop them on purpose. So they'll pick them off the tree and then drop them. And so after I did my evening video yesterday, I was sitting in the shelter. I got changed and I was just, not doing much while I was getting ready for bed. And all of a sudden I hear all this dunk, 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 all these little, noises. I'm like, what's going on? And it's all these tree nuts falling. And I guess maybe they do that. I don't know. Maybe it makes it easier for them to collect. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because you would hear a whole bunch of them falling for a few minutes and then it would slow down and then you'd hear it again somewhere else. Now, anyways, the plan for today is about 15.8 miles. Not as much elevation, not as much climbing today, but I got a huge descent at the end of the day. Which means there's probably going to be a big climb tomorrow morning. That's just usually how those things happen. I didn't really notice if there were any good views today. I just didn't pay attention to that, but I'll see what happens. And then I'd like to go longer today to make tomorrow easier, but if I'm remembering correctly, there wasn't it was a long space between shelters, and I didn't see another camping, tenting area between them. But I'll take another look later because I'd rather have the shorter day tomorrow if possible. But I don't recall there being a good campsite between where I'm stopping and the next shelter. And I remember them being pretty far away. It might have been like 8 miles, so that would have been a really long day. We'll see. I'll take another look at it later and double check. All right, well, as always, if I see anything interesting, I'll grab a picture or some video. But for now, here's what the trail looks like. Well, about 3 hours into the hike and finally get a good view. Look at all those mountains, all those ridges. In the middle of a field here, and it's providing a nice view. And you can see the trail heading up to, I'm pretty sure this is Coal Mountain, and it looks like it has a vault, so maybe I'll get another view up there. I'm near the top, and that's where I was just a few minutes ago. Looks like there's a large group coming. Another nice view of the mountains behind. Alright, so I finished my last climb for the day, I think. I mean, there might be some smaller ones, but as long as I don't go any further than my plans, this shouldn't have anything significant now. And I'm beginning a 4.5 mile descent of almost 3,000 feet to the Brown Mountain Creek Shelter, I think is the name of it. And you know, hasn't been a lot of things to see today. I mean, a few views. Was nice in that field. That was nice. I had a good view of that field and from the knob on top. But it's looking like it's probably going to be just mostly forest the rest of the way down. All right. Well, so unless I see something interesting along the way, you know, I'll see you again at the shelter area. For now, here's what the trail looks like. Of course, I say that, and not 30 seconds later along the trail, I get a nice view. That's how it always happens, right? So that was interesting. This area used to be farmed by freed slaves. And there was a short description there of how the farmers who were sharecroppers paid for their land in a sense, right? They said that he basically had to pay a quarter of his crop. To the landowners. And he had to pay an eighth of this crop to the person who owned the mill that would then grind the corn. So, interesting. I'm curious if they're going to have some more signs along the way about this area. I'm about I guess less than a mile now from the shelter area. And this last little bit has been fairly pleasant. Hoping it stays that way. All right, here's what it looks like. So there's some rocks here. Not sure. This might have been an old well, maybe a fireplace. And it doesn't look like the right shape for a fireplace. But it looks like there's some other smaller rocks around here, some other things that seem to suggest the outline of a structure. So this area right here might have been one of the sharecroppers' houses. All right, here at the Brown Mountain Creek shelter. The creek is probably just, I don't know, maybe 100 yards, not even that much behind me. There's supposed to be another smaller spring around here. But otherwise, it's about the same. I think it's the same exact kind of style shelter that I had last night. All right, I'm gonna get settled in. All right, well, it's about 7 o'clock and nobody else has shown up. So I'm the only one here again. 2 nights in a row. It isn't such a huge surprise. Most southbounders, people who are starting at Katahdin and heading south to Springer, are behind me still. And the flip-floppers, there's not nearly as many flip-floppers as there are northbounders. All the northbounders are well through here by now. I was figuring, though, since it is a weekend, I'm pretty sure today's a Saturday, that there would have been, some section hikers or day hikers, after a weekend that might have stayed here. But I saw a whole bunch of day hikers earlier in the day, but nobody after after I crossed this one road, and no hikers whatsoever. So, yeah, by myself again. I think I'll be okay. Tomorrow is going to be a little longer. It's about 20 miles, 20.2 I want to say. The overall elevation gain loss doesn't look too bad. I want to say it's on the order of like 4,000 gain and 2,500 loss, I think, somewhere around there. But that's not, over 20 miles. That's not too bad. I didn't see any really big climbs, and there's a couple 1,000-foot climbs. Well, 1,000, and then like I want to say like sorry, like a 1,500-foot climb, and then a whole bunch of other smaller things. So shouldn't be too bad. But I'm going to get up and get moving a little earlier, especially if there's nobody else here. I don't feel bad about waking up early and, turning my flashlight on and getting going. When there's other people around, especially if I'm staying in the shelter, I kind of feel a little bit bad waking up at 4:30, so I can try and be out by 6. But with nobody else here and nobody else to care about, right? So I think that'll be my plan, try and get out by 6. Hopefully I'll be done by 4. Gives me some time to get into town and resupply and have a decent meal, get to sleep, and do it all again tomorrow or the next day. So I guess that's about it. No cell signal, so I haven't been able to look up anything. I did finish. He's been sitting here, for a few hours. I was able to finish my hat that I've been working on since New Hampshire, really. So that's nice. I'll have it when it gets cooler. I was just expecting to need it tonight, and I could have used it the last couple nights, but it's going to be a little bit warmer tonight. I think it's only going to get down to, the mid-60s. And it's going to be warm tomorrow. It's going to be in the 80s. Oh, well. Well, as always, if you stuck through to the end, I appreciate it. I'll see you again tomorrow on the trail.